because the next speaker I'm going to introduce to you, she will be very interested in you finding out why. Why are you not on Facebook? Because Tina Kulow, she is responsible, she's corporate communication head for Facebook in the whole of Northern Europe. And Facebook's mission is to try to make the world more open and connected. And to achieve that very important mission for Facebook, diversity is key. Diversity is essential. If they do not work with a diversity in teams, they cannot achieve their mission. And of course, we do wonder here today at the opening of this academic year, what can we learn from Facebook? Because how do they manage? What happens? How are they able to set up a diversity of teams in order to be able to represent the world they want to make more open and connected? So we are delighted to have her here. So thank you very much for joining us, Tina. But before I give her the floor and the microphone, let's have a short look at a video impression, because the video team of the University of Maastricht, they spent some time at the diverse buildings here from the university to just gather some quotes on today's theme. And they are also food for thought, what your colleagues do think about women in academia. So first have a look at that small video, and then I will hand over the floor to Tina Kulow.
So I started to think about applying for PhDs as my main priority. And then that's already very overwhelming and intimidating.
I didn't think about it because I'm in my bachelor.
I would say even up to 50 to 60% of the medicine students are female.
And if I see the increasing number, then I think it's not going so badly, it's really improving.
There is a significant dropout, first of all, after just finishing their medicine.
My main goal would be to become part of the highest board of a hospital.
In cardiology or cardiac surgery, there are no female professors.
Yeah, I don't think about that so much. It's getting my foot in the door and then worrying about those problems later as they come on later in my career.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Tina Kulow.
So hello and good morning, and thank you for the kind invitation. And I thought it was quite a curious move for such a renowned university to invite somebody from such a very young company, 10 years. And so thank you very much for the invitation. And I must say, I already learned something, and really I should have learned how to negotiate much earlier in my career. Ursula, really a bummer, I missed that. Maybe just a few words about myself. Simona just kindly said, so I'm responsible for corporate communications. That means I'm talking to media and press all over Northern Europe. It's quite a task. So yes, if you have any question, please approach me afterwards at the coffee. Not everybody who's not on Facebook, but everybody who wants to. So why is this topic also to increase more women in academia? Why is this so dear, first of all, to my heart, and why is this so important for a company? Dear to my heart, maybe, and during that time, I can tell you, I really didn't realize it, but very early in my career, I started at a private TV station, and it was very low in the rank, but I had a very fun job. I was doing the PR for 4 years for Star Trek. Yes, Captain Kirk and everything. And I was honored because I spent some time with one of our pioneers in space and diversity. And Nichelle Nichols truly is one of my heroes from the very first days. And she proved to be really a pioneer, not only in space, but also on vodka tonics, which she killed in masses, much more than me in the evening after the talk show, which we also tried to learn. We tried to learn how is world functioning, how do people use Facebook, what do they need? Do they use it on a very old mobile phone in Africa, or do they sit in a master's university in a room without Wi-Fi or whatsoever? But I assume there is no room without Wi-Fi here. And also, actually basically then building the knowledge economy with projects like internet.org, etc. In order to do this, the company has set themselves many goals, and one is diversity. So just a few months ago, we actually have now a head of global diversity based in Menlo Park. And one of the things when people ask me, so how is it to work for Facebook? One of the things that always strike me, there are actually two things. The one is that I never experienced a company which is so dedicated to that everybody is able to make mistakes and learn from them. And there's a broad field you can do mistakes, honestly. And the other thing is that for me and for many of my colleagues, I feel really lucky to work in a company that's led by Sheryl Sandberg. And so you asked the question about Facebook, I asked the question, who has read Lean In by Sheryl? Great. So I can just recommend that book. It's very entertaining, it's very funny actually. And one of the things that struck me when I started to work with Facebook is exactly what actually Ursula has mentioned before. I have never experienced a company who's so dedicated in learning everybody, not only my male colleagues, but especially the female colleagues, is what you call the habitus. And Sheryl mentioned it in her book, is that she said, sit at the table. And I don't know if you have experienced this moment when there's a conference and there's a big table, and maybe the table has not enough room, enough chairs for everybody on the table. We, and I include myself, more often take the second row and let sit somebody else on the table, which is in fact a really stupid thing to do. I'm not sure if you have to bang the table all the time, but I'm just kidding. But this is one of the things which we very inherited in our company culture. So these two things, having Sheryl, which is a great person to work with and a great leader, and the other thing is that we have that open culture that everybody can do mistakes. I do them all the time, and it's great. Nobody says stop. Nobody says don't do this, you will make a mistake. But quite the opposite embraces that. So this shows actually one of the walls in our cafeteria. And you see words like hack. And just to be clear, we don't hack into something. But one of the things that we do is we have regular hackathons. And those hackathons, we have a topic. And this topic could actually be, and I think it had been in the past, how to grow the pipeline. Because we have exactly the same problem than you do in academia. We need especially more female engineers. We need more girls to code. We need more women to be interested in computer science. And this is something which, and I'm sure you talk about, this is something which is also something we work on. So in a hackathon, the only rule is you do not work on stuff that you do usually during your workday, which doesn't mean that all of a sudden I start programming things for the Facebook platform. No worries about that. But it's rather that, that we just set up certain teams, work in teams, and then work on solutions. And this could be anything. And then most of these programs actually get to be developed and then implemented. And this is also something which is another key point, which I will come back all the time, is that if you think about programs and if you think about how to get more women into academia and how to set up mentoring programs, it needs to be bottom-up, not top-down. So this is our campus from Menlo Park. Menlo Park is south of San Francisco, a little bit south of Palo Alto, and is actually the old area for Sun Computer Systems. And so one of the things that Facebook does embrace diversity. And diversity, yes, women is one of the main topics, no doubt about it, but diversity means multicultural, multi-language, ethnics, gender, you name it, everything. And we have set many, many programs in place where actually everybody of our employees gets trainings into not being biased. We are not a company which has any space for racism, sexism, and on the workplace. So we really do embrace that. And most of the programs that we have, all those initiatives for more, we have one that is called Pride that I'm in. We have another one, the EMEA Women's Group. We have the Black Team on Facebook, the Black Engineers. all of those groups, which have now actually, not exactly a mentorship, but have somebody from our management board in there, most of these groups have been organized bottoms up. It was grassroots. And then we get the funding and everything from the company to foster this. So it's a very dear topic, diversity. And we have so many things to do. So we just released the numbers, and I put on, because I thought you might scribble it down, and I can send it to you also later on. We have publicized our numbers, and you can see there's lots of work. So we're quite good in non-tech jobs, right? Quite good. Still room for improvement. And we have the same issue that you do in academics. 50. I was shocked when I saw that video that 50 or 60% of the students are female students, and then there's this dropout. So we do have the same in terms of engineering. A lot of people, we don't even have the numbers for female coders, right? And we're working on that. So non-tech looks good. Tech is really a disaster, to be quite frank. And another area where we need to improve is ethnicity. And we actually, this is also something, I'm based in Hamburg, Germany, and it's a pretty boring white office, so we're going to work on that too. But so diversity, we know we have many, many things to do, and we take it on. So one of the things that I would like to elaborate is this group of women and men, actually. So we have so when Cheryl started with the company, right at the beginning, she put forward the Facebook Women Group. And the reason for that was not to drink coffee and to invite interesting speakers, but to do everything actually that I said before by Ursula, which is, it was actually kind of a natural mentoring program. It's a networking program. It is something where we can learn and share best practices across the board. It is an area where my colleagues come together from all different sorts of culture, where I speak with Anki from Delhi, where I can speak with Mia from Sydney, or with my colleagues from Brazil. And this is something which started right at the beginning when Cheryl was there, and she was kind of the spark, right? And this is now transformed that everybody does this and is actually taking this on. So this group behind me is actually the EMEA Women Group. And we did this very first EMEA Women Day last year in December. And it was a great success. So the thing is, I think the learnings from this event were threefold. The one is, if you ever do anything where you say you have a whole day and you have a topic like how to inspire, how to make things happen, how to learn, or whatever the topic is, it was inspire in our case, get everybody on board. Everybody on board means make it possible that all female colleagues that you want to address can actually attend. And especially, and that's the second thing, get the men on board. This changed what we all try to do within the next years, to get a place where diversity lives, and it really doesn't matter if it's academia, or if it's a young company like ours, or if is it a startup. It doesn't work if it's top-down, it has to be bottom-up, and it has to be the engagement and the commitment from everybody. If you only have a women's group talking about this, you will have no impact. If you only have, and this actually was a learning that I didn't get from my women's group because we thought we knew it all, right? But this is something I got from our colleagues who founded this Black at Facebook group. And they said, we don't get anywhere if we just meet ourselves. So they got our CTO on board, Mike Schrepf, and he's not black, and he's now the mentor of that group. So get the buy-in. And that's what happens. So that's why you see many women and just a few guys. And so this program, for example, it's not, so Cheryl wasn't there. I think she sent in a video, but this is actually driven by a group where I'm a member of, which is the EMEA Women's Group, and we are 7 colleagues, and we drive this. And so our mentor is our head of EMEA, which is Nicola Mendelssohn. So as you can see, we are quite good in the VP and COO level of female management. So this is something that we say to, for our mission and what we would like to achieve. 1% finished. And I think if we look on what to do to overcome this big gap and to get more diverse, we are just 1% finished. And maybe something for you to think about is the following. When I said about the culture and the learning, in one of those hackathons I mentioned earlier, I think it's about maybe 6 or 7 years ago, we found in one of the other offices an old offset printing machine, right? And then one of the hackathons was to print those posters with, maybe you have heard quotes like, "Fortune favors the bold," or "Move fast and break things." So one of the things that what we did was, what would you do if you weren't afraid? And I hope that we're going to discuss this at the panel, but this is actually something for you. What can you personally, you yourself, do to overcome these biases? And will you sit on the table next time and say something or knock on the table? And what can you do if you go out of the door to change this and make this happen? Thank you very much.
Thank you so very much, Tina Kulow.